All right, picture this. A drought so brutal, it makes the Dust Bowl look like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
We're talking 1,200 years, the driest period ever recorded.
Wow.
And that's the reality in the American West, folks.
It's rough out there.
The Colorado River, that mighty river, it's drying up.
Yeah, it's not looking good. The situation is getting unsustainable really fast.
And this isn't just some abstract environmental problem, people.
Right.
This is about people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, the Colorado River Compact, that agreement that's supposed to, keep the peace between these states that share the river.
Right.
Well, it was written when water was plentiful. Nobody saw this coming.
Things have changed.
Totally different ballgame now.
And that brings us to our deep dive today.
Okay.
Arizona.
Makes sense.
Scorching deserts, booming cities.
Huge strain on the water.
Already limited supply. We're going deep on a new investigative report from Truthout,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
exposing how corporations are looking at this crisis, this water crisis, and they see dollar signs.
Oh, absolutely they do. It's a gold rush, except instead of gold, it's water.
So corporations are buying up water.
Yeah, they're buying it up, and they're not being shy about it. Big time.
I need details. What's the end game here?
Profit. Pure and simple. It's all about profit. They're banking on water becoming more scarce,
Which it will.
which it will, and more valuable. Basic supply and demand. They buy it now while it's what they consider cheap.
Right.
Wait till everyone's desperate. Then they jack up the prices.
So hold on. We're not just talking about, farmers needing water for their crops.
No. This is different.
This is next level stuff.
This is Wall Street, big money, hedge funds. We're talking massive water acquisitions, speculating on water futures.
So like they do with oil or gas?
Exactly. It's the new commodity. Like, picture a Wall Street trading floor, but instead of yelling about stocks, they're betting on the price of water.
That's both fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of Wild West out there.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So this Truthout report, they get into the nitty-gritty of this.
Oh, yeah. They've got names. They've got numbers.
Give me an example. Who are these players? So they're buying up land just for the water rights. That's wild.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And it's not just a small thing either. It's like these massive land grabs.
So give me an example from the report. Who are these companies and what are they doing?
So one of the big ones Truthout really digs into is this company, Water Asset Management.
Water asset management. Catchy.
Right. Like something out of a dystopian novel or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're called WHAM for short. And these guys, they recently dropped a cool $100 million.
$100 million.
Yeah, on over 12,000 acres in La Paz County.
La Paz County. That's rural Arizona, right?
Exactly. It's not like they're buying up beachfront property here. They're after the water.
So they're buying up all this land, but they're not planning to, become farmers, right?
No. Their goal, see, is the water rights.
Okay, so walk me through this. How do water rights work in Arizona?
So in many parts of Arizona, the way it works is that the right to use the water is tied directly to the land. You own the land, you own the rights to the water beneath it.
So these companies, they're buying thousands of acres, essentially buying the right to all that groundwater. What's to stop them from just draining the entire area dry?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in places like La Paz County, the regulations around groundwater pumping are, shall we say, a little lax.
Lax. You mean like anything goes?
Pretty much. The Truthout report found that these companies are exploiting these loopholes. They're pumping massive amounts of water with very little oversight, more than can be replenished.
It's like the Wild West of water.
Worse, because at least in the Wild West, they were fighting over something they could see. This is happening underground, out of sight. But the consequences, those will be impossible to ignore.
So what happens when these aquifers run dry? What happens to the people who rely on that water?
Well, for starters, you're talking about wells going dry, farms going bust, entire communities struggling to survive.
Not to mention the environmental impact.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about sinking land, damage to ecosystems. It's a whole domino effect. And you know what happens when a resource becomes scarce? The price skyrockets.
So everyday people, families, they're going to be the ones left footing the bill for this.
Exactly. Suddenly, something as basic as water, it becomes a luxury only a select few can afford.
This is bigger than just, corporate greed. This is about people's right to water. It's like we're living in a real-life Western, except the gold rush is for water.
Yeah, it's a pretty apt comparison. And like any good Western, you got folks who are ready to fight back against those trying to seize control.
Yeah, the Truthout report, it doesn't just paint this bleak picture, right? They talk about resistance, too.
Absolutely. People are fired up about this, and they're organizing. The report highlights some of the amazing work being done in places like, remember we talked about La Paz County?
Right, where that company, Wham, bought up all that land.
Exactly. Well, the people there, they aren't taking this lying down. They're organizing protests, they're going to town halls, they're raising awareness, they're even taking legal action.
So it's not just like, a bunch of lawyers and
Oh
activists.
no, this is grassroots.
Yeah.
This is about everyday people realizing that if they don't protect their water today, there might not be any left for their kids.
And it's not just happening at the local level either, right? I mean, this is getting national attention.
For sure, lawmakers are starting to pay attention. The report mentions Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ro Khanna. They've introduced a bill to try and curb this whole speculative trading on water futures.
Wait, so they want to make it illegal for Wall Street to gamble on the price of water?
That's the gist, yeah.
Mm.
Their argument is that water, it's a public good. It's essential for life. Treating it like some commodity to be traded on Wall Street, it's just wrong.
Right, like you can't put a price tag on survival.
Exactly. This bill, if it passes, it would make it so investors can't profit from water futures unless they're actually farmers who need that water for their crops.
So it's about putting the power back in the hands of the people who actually rely on this water?
Exactly. And I think it speaks to a larger shift that needs to happen. We need to move away from this mindset of scarcity and exploitation and towards a more just and equitable approach to water.
So what can our listeners do? I mean, we've thrown a lot of information at them.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. But look, the first step is awareness. You're listening to this, you're already ahead of the game.
Right? Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, take it a step further. Find out what's happening with water in your own community. Are there conservation efforts? Are there groups fighting against water grabs? Get involved. And don't be afraid to reach out to your elected officials. Let them know this is an issue you care about.
Yeah, make some noise, make them listen.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, water is everyone's responsibility. The choices we make today, they're going to determine the future of water for generations to come.
That's a powerful message. And on that note, I want to say a huge thank you to Truthout for this incredible eye-opening report. We'll be sure to link it in our show notes so you can check it out for yourselves.
It's definitely worth a read, and it really gets you thinking, history's full of stories about civilizations that crumbled because they didn't manage their water well.
Yeah, cautionary tales.
Exactly. So the question is, are we going to learn from their mistakes?
Ooh, that's something to ponder. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
See you, it's time.
And until then, stay curious.